Let's do that.
All right. Hey, everybody. We are live. It's East Coast USA Surf, Kayak, and Waveski. And we're interviewing Paul from Start Waveski Surfing. So I'm here on the East Coast in New York, USA. And Paul, where you live in, what country, what town, and what your surf break, and what are the waves like there?
Well, I live in the Netherlands. Well, most people have heard of Amsterdam. I just live above Amsterdam, and from there, for me, it's a half an hour drive to the nearest beach. And that is, when it comes to surfing, one of the two most popular surf spots because there is a pier. So you have the protection of the pier, depending on the winds. You can choose if you choose the north side or the south side from the pier.
Mhm.
Then I have to go to another town, to another beach, but that's maybe 5 or 10 minutes difference in driving. So, but that's why it's one of the most popular surf spots because it's a beach break, and the winds in the surf in the Netherlands is caused by mostly winds.
Yeah.
We don't really have big swell waves. We got the UK, which is actually in our way, so
Oh, right.
the swell has to come from north or from south. So we don't have that big swell, but so the most surf is caused by wind.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we're here on the East Coast. It's a lot of beach break. There's some rocky points, more
Okay.
in the northeast of the USA on the East Coast. The coastline, some cliffs, some rocks, but for the most point, it's beach break.
Yeah.
So you're definitely paddling out through the white water, through the breakwater. You're getting wet, you're rolling, and all that good stuff. But to get to you, I stumbled upon you in my journey, and I was riding the Cobra Strike, sit on top,
Yeah.
and I happened to fall into one of these groups on Facebook, and then I started looking on YouTube, and I didn't even know a wave ski existed, believe it or not. I've been surfing since I was 14. I'm 50, but I really had no idea. But you've really created this business-like page because it's organized. Your YouTube has great sections of video, and it's just amazing, and it helped me so much. So first of all, how did you get into wave ski, surfing, and what sparked you to create
Yeah.
this?
Well, it's good to hear that's inspiring, and that's what I'm doing it for. But actually, at the very start, if you watch my very first videos, you will see that I put the name "Start Waveski Surfing Nederland" or Netherlands. I don't know
Okay,
if I
right.
put it in Dutch or in English,
Hmm.
because actually, just like you had no idea about wave ski, for me in 2016 it all started, and I had no idea about wave ski before that. I haven't seen one in a beach or whatever. So I just started the
Hmm.
when I just started. For me, the idea about the YouTube page was actually two things. One first thing was actually that I hoped to get some tips and ideas because it's a small sport, and when I started, I just thought it was a small sport in Holland.
Mm.
Afterwards, I learned that worldwide it's a small sport. But for me, the idea was, well, while I'm learning things, and while I'm looking up a lot of things, when I start something, I'm very passionate. I spend a lot of time in my free time to look things up because when I start something, I want to learn and I want to progress. So I thought, while I'm doing this, I might as well put some videos online. And at first, I thought I just will put some, 5 or 10 videos online,
Mm.
and then that's it. So let me share with people in Holland what I find to also try to give them some info if they want to start. But on the other hand, I hoped that my YouTube channel would also be seen by people with experience, and they could give me some advice and tips, because I was all about, just feed me and I want to learn. I'm not here to teach, but I'm here to learn. That was the first step.
Mm. Yeah, no, it's great. Not everyone's a great teacher and has the patience to be a teacher or an instructor. But what I will tell the people out there listening, if you've never edited video or audio, it takes a really, really, really long time, because we discussed that. So the amount of time it takes if you create a storyboard, to get your ideas together for what I'm showing on screen here, for the different sections of your tutorials and stuff, just takes an immense amount of time and obviously passion. No one's getting rich off this stuff.
Not at all. It only costs money, and like you say, it takes a lot of time, and that's why at some point I created a playlist Q&A with small tips, and the idea behind that was to make some short videos very quickly, because it takes so much time to create a whole tutorial. So I thought I might sometimes pick something out, something specific, and just create a small 3 minutes or 2 minutes video about it. But even that 2 minute video takes time, because you have to set up all your things. I just have a house in well, I have a lot of neighbors, so I put up all my gear in the garden to film, and then the neighbor he starts drilling, or the kids start shouting, and then how many times that I recorded a video and I just have to throw away everything. I don't think I can count it on both hands now.
Yeah. That's I've got workmen here in the basement. I just saw I had to get up. My dog wanted to be let outside next to me over here. So that's life, It's all good stuff. But so I was talking to Ian Maxkey, and your name came up, and he mentioned you because in a sense you really didn't have anyone to kind of guide you on this journey, and you being so far away, like I guess maybe South Africa, or where the waves are bigger and better possibly, or if there's a Waveski community that's already set up, or they have contests, so it's pretty interesting that you kind of just started from scratch, and just found your way through online and stuff like that. So when you got your first Waveski, I'm in the same boat sometimes. Just because it's free, or it's a lower model, or it's cheaper, obviously I don't go out and buy top of the line for something I don't know if I'm going to be good at or keep up with. So I mean, how was it when you got your first ski and your first paddle and you were learning?
Well, let me tell you the story about how it started. Actually, I was looking for another sport to be more active, and then in Holland, where I live, there's a lot of flat water, and I thought of buying a kayak, but I've always been interested in some more extreme sports. So kayaking didn't sound active enough for me, and I've always been interested in surfing, but I never had the idea that the waves will be good enough in Holland. Until one day that I was playing with my kids. I told you the story when we talked earlier, but just in short, at some day in the summer, I discovered that there are actually good waves in Holland to surf on. And I went to a big kayak shop close by here, from my mate Arjan Bloem. I didn't know him then, but now he has become a good friend. And I was talking to him and asking, I'm looking for something on which I can surf as well as just kayak.
Yeah.
And he said, well, you have to choose. There's not one craft that is good for both. But we started talking about surfing and interests and all that. And he said, I got something for you. It's not in my shop because it doesn't sell so much here. It's not so well known here. and he took me to one of the other buildings next to the shop where he had his private collection of Waveskis. So that was the first time I heard about it. It was not about seeing it in the beach and being surfed, but he told me about it, and I was like, oh, okay, interesting. What's it called? Waveski? Okay, I'll look it up on YouTube. So I looked it up on YouTube, and one of the first videos I saw was from Rhys Duncan and Tony Cherry, and that was so inspiring. And it was like, for me, it was at that moment I saw that, I was like, that's it. That's it. I want to do that. And at that time in 2016, there was one shop in a bit more up north where they imported KS Waveski, the French brands.
Okay.
And the KS Waveskis are very popular to start with. The one model, you have the 145, 155, and now you get also bigger model. And I rang the guy up and I said, okay, I saw on your website that we could also try a Waveski. Yeah, come over and we're going to try. So I tested my first Waveski, which was a KS1, and it was, of course, it was the first time. So I did a lot of swimming, but also in that after 20 minutes, I was dead. But in that 20 minutes, I caught one green wave, and of course I couldn't ride it diagonal, couldn't make any turns, but it picked me up and it launched me towards the beach, and that sensation was so I was sold. But then, okay, you know, new hobby, what's the price? How much time am I going to have it for it? And he sold that Waveski, but it was too expensive for me. I had also needed a paddle, wetsuit, and all that, you know.
Yeah.
It was also fall, so I thought I'm going to need a better wetsuit for the winter and all that. So I went back to Arjan, and he said, I might have something for you. It's kind of difficult ski to start on, but it's better priced. And he sold me a vintage Max ski model from the 80s, very small, no rocker. And that was my first wave ski.
Yeah.
So very difficult. And I always advise people, don't start on a difficult wave ski. But I can tell that, I can say that because I know what mistakes you can make. But I was very determined to learn it. So I pulled it off. But it was not the most easy wave ski to start on.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. I mean, you know, you want to get a feel for it and try something new. But even me, you know, my first surf kayak is 20 years old. Still great though, still great, but heavier. You know, it was composite. It wasn't the, you know, the lighter carbon and Kevlar mix and things like that.
Yeah, because what is the weight of that old surf kayak?
Yeah, I mean, it might even been just an extra 10 pounds, but you know, when I get water and wet sand in it from my emergency exit, you know, just putting it on my car, you know, my after a couple of hours in the water, I'm like, gee.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so now you progress to a max ski, a custom. You know, which I know you love a lot. Everyone loves the custom wave skis, which is so different than a surf kayak because, you know, the models are the models. Whereas the wave ski, if you're working with someone like Ian, you basically let him know what you're looking for, what your height, your weight is, things like that, and his mind starts working and he creates something for you.
Definitely.
Yeah, and what I love about your videos too is that you were experimenting with even raising the seat a little bit. So now that you're progressed into a high performance wave ski, and you can tell the difference totally, right?
Yeah, definitely. You know, from that old Max ski, it was difficult to start on. Then after a year, I first bought me a Case Performance, which was a very good board. Very difficult to pedal out, and I just told you about the wind waves. Well, that means a lot of times that when the waves are big, it's also very messy here.
Yeah.
So what was difficult for me with the case performance was that it didn't give me good stability. And I could pedal it out, and I could progress, because I was like, I'm gonna keep this board for a few years before I'm looking for something. It was a very good board, but then well, there's a whole story behind it. But I was chatting with a few guys, and also with Ian, and he complimented me on what I was doing with Start Waveski surfing, and he
Mhm.
knew, because of the reactions I posted on his posts, that I love the dolphin. But that was just about the shape, not about what can a dolphin do, what can that model do. For me, the dolphin was like, I just love that lines. I think it's very sexy. So he said, I want to build you a dolphin. I want to shape your dolphin. I was like,
Nice.
what?
Mhm.
Maxkey is one of
Mhm.
the big names in this Waveski world. It has such a long history, and I've been chatting with Ian, and he's such a nice guy and such
Mhm.
very lovable, and we started talking, and I made clear what I was looking for in a wave ski, and that's the beauty of custom shaping, because originally the dolphin is created for making long bottom turns and long
Yeah.
top turns, but that's not the kind of waves that I got here. So,
Yeah.
but again, that's the beauty of custom shaping. He made such a beautiful balance in stability and performance. So I really love it. And as a matter of fact, I've been surfing this morning, and I've been talking about with Bart about it, one of my wave ski mates, and he keeps on telling the progression I have made since I have been surfing the Mexican Dolphin is immense. He
Mm.
said, I always saw you struggling with the balance, with the performance, and now you just pedal out and you take that wave after wave. It's a huge difference.
Excellent. Yeah, I was late to the game on possibly buying a used Dolphin, but then again, I'm rushing into things without talking to people. This was almost a year ago, and Ian was so nice, answered my email and all these questions, but I didn't tell him anything like what I weigh and what my waves are like, and what I want to achieve with this wave ski. I just saw, wow, cool, used wave ski.
Mhm.
And then I pulled back, and I'm like, wait a minute, I rushed into too many things in my life and been
Uh,
disappointed. Let me find out what the weight capacity is on this.
uh,
Is it a little more stable? Is it longer? And I knew nothing of that, so I kind of held off.
yeah.
And after talking with you and Ian and guys that are doing it, I'm glad I did, because now when I do get one, I can kind of tell them what my goals are,
Yeah.
and go from there, which brings us back to, well, you get what you pay for.
Yeah. Yeah,
You can,
exactly. But it's good to know. I've made some videos about that.
yeah.
Like find a wave ski, and should you go for production board, or is a custom board also interesting? And is it also interesting for beginners, or is it only for the experts? So when I was making those videos, I was already talking to a few of the
Mm.
shapers, and then I also learned that of course for every level they can make you what you want. But my advice would be, take some time to surf and try to find a board. Hi, Ross is coming in. Hi,
Yeah.
Ross. Um, my advice would be, like, try to find a not too expensive board to start with. Board that gives you good stability. That is really key. And then just start surfing and know what you like, and now know what kind of surfing you would like to achieve,
Hmm.
because then you can give so much information to the shaper, and then
Yeah.
it can shape you the perfect boards. And in the beginning I was thinking, like, you should go to Shaper and feel it and see it. But that's the beauty with the social media now. You can talk with them, and those guys are so experienced. All the shapers around the world. That there's really good shapers, and I had it with a personal experience with Ian, but I talked to
Yeah.
many shapers also from other brands. But then, with Ian, how he translated everything I wanted into that board, it feels magical. But it's worthwhile to first start with another board before you go into your first custom. But that's my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I agree. I mean, I've got some video in the background here, but yeah, I agree too. I mean, listen, you can get something used, you can get it secondhand, maybe as an introduction, but then again, like your journey, and Ross and I have a good friend, Bill. It's the team down in New Jersey, Ross and Bill, who are
Yeah.
always adding content, to the East Coast. And
Yeah.
yeah, Bill's got a few wave skis. I was apprehensive to try one only because I was kind of on a mission when I went down to visit them, which was just get out there, and I was just getting wave after wave, and I wasn't in the mood to try to learn something new that day. But they're older.
Sometimes it's not your day. You have to take time and well,
Yeah.
not to hurry. I think it's a good thing that you didn't do it too hasty, and you're taking the time to see what you want, because you're also, of course, busy with surf kayaking.
Yeah. That was a thing too. Any chance I have to get in the water, at that point, I was trying to work on my right-handers, which here in Long Island, it's a lot of left-hand waves, and in Jersey, it seems to be a lot of rights. And I was like, oh man,
that's very funny, because this morning I also talked to Bart that it was a good day today for me to work on my right-handers, because I also serve mostly a lot of left-handers, and that seems also to be my favorite sides.
Yeah.
For me, it's more difficult to take a right-hander, but the last sessions there was a lot of right-handers, so that was a good training.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. And Ross and I, we both love our Cobra Strikes. They sit on top, they're plastic.
Yeah.
I took my fin off just to get a little more radical. And Ross, I think, introduced me to them when I had just a regular sit on top kayak that wasn't really made for surfing. So I had no idea that there were surf kayaks up until like 3 years ago. But
I think a sit on top surf kayak is also a very good way to start with in the beginning. And I know there are people who are disagreeing because Waveski serves differently.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are not experts or becoming experts. So there's a difference in how the time you have, and just for the normal people amongst us, just like me and you, it doesn't matter. It's all about having fun and taking the time and see what it is. So in the beginning, you just have to see how often can I go to the beach? How often can I surf? What kind of waves do I surf? And it doesn't matter so much on what kind of board you have. After a while, when you're seeing like, this is really cool sport, I want to progress and I want to do some more, then it's the time to find something good. But in the beginning, it doesn't matter so much, as long as you take a board that gives you good stability.
Yeah.
Or you have to be very determined and very maybe stubborn like me, that you're not a quitter and not giving up, even if you have a very difficult board to start with. If you're not someone who gives up easily, then you can do it. But if you're like, oh no, it frustrates me, it doesn't give me enough stability, I fall all the time. If that's the case, and you're giving up the sport, it's a shame. so that's why I try to advise. It's just like surfing. Every surf school gives the students an 8-footer. Why? Because you shouldn't start with a short board.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Absolutely. That's what the surf schools do here. And You know, Ross and I are in the same boat. You know, I'll go back to what I sent Ian like a year ago, and I said, what if I snap the nose off my Waveski or something like that? Because I've seen a few, not his brand, that are fiberglass. You know, they break the nose off, and he's like, oh, you won't break mine. You know, but if but you wouldn't drive a Rolls Royce into a brick wall. So you consciously should not be riding the shore brake right into the sand. I mean, but on my Cobra Strike, I'll do that, you know, and I'll get a lot more aggressive in shallower water with it because I can just dump it aside and bail. Because I went out Saturday and I could have connected to the inside section, but I saw that it was pretty much slamming in inches of water, and I wasn't going to put my new kayak or myself in that predicament. So, you know, if you get a nice Waveski, obviously, just like a surfboard, you don't want to jam it into the sand. Definitely something's going to happen.
You know, you can break every board.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're not careful, and if you're surfing too close to the sand, then again this morning there was upcoming tide, and we were at a spot, and we see how it was breaking on a beach, and we decided to move up a little because it was too tricky. One time I had a wipe out and I wanted to do my roll, and I felt with my pedal, I felt the sand. I was like, okay, I'm too close now. So yeah, you have to be careful with every board. And that's a nice thing when you're starting. If you just take an older board or plastic, sit on top, you don't have to be so careful. And that's why I collaborate with Mathieu Babary from Kahlua Softy with the inflatables. As much as I can, I give Waveski tutorial, Waveski clinics, and then I use a Kahlua Softy. And then I don't have to panic when they're getting too close to the beach that they are breaking my boards, because the Kahlua is perfect for it. They won't break the Kahlua.
Yeah,
and there are no rocks, so they won't tear it apart as well.
Yeah, Miles has an interesting question on the screen about removable outriggers. You know, that's where they have the little arms that go out. Training wheels. I don't know if they make them for wave skis or not. I mean, you know, you can get a wider wave ski. I've seen in some European videos and such that will give you a little more stability, so you're not constantly falling over. And maybe the Kahlua Softy looks like it's a little more flat, less rocker. I don't know. What's your experience?
Yeah, and it's got very thick rails, and it is also very, very wide.
Yeah,
it is. I don't know in inches and all that, but it's 10 centimeters wider than the average wave ski. I never thought of that, but I think my first reaction to this question would be like, you know, that's not supposed to be attached on a wave ski, because that's not what wave ski is about. Wave ski is about surfing. And surfing is that flow of going from bottom turns to top turns, cutbacks, and wave ski is not for just picking up a wave and riding it out.
Straight.
Wave ski is for doing all those surf maneuvers, and I don't see that happening with an outrigger. And, well, for beginner, I wouldn't make that choice to. Of course, you could if you're a bit handy, you could attach something like an outrigger to your wave ski. But I just would look for a stable surf and top surf kayak or stable wave ski. But I wouldn't start with outriggers, because as soon as you started, you want to try and practice on your turns, and that will be more difficult with an outrigger.
Yeah, it's you're exactly right. They make them wide for learning. You know, the strike is a little wider. Like I've hopped on a few things and I'm like, whoa, this is wobbly, but I've never had that problem on the strike, you know, which I have here, which I'm always up for bringing to let somebody try it here in New York, Long Island, you know. And yeah, I mean, we've got a nice, Ross says, nice surfing. I think he's looking at the videos back here. So.
Unfortunately, this is not me. I wish it was doing some nice maneuvers there.
Yeah, it's
Nice
not
top
me
turn.
either. Well, that's the importance of the videos. Even if it's, my wife is not getting out of her chair when we're at the beach to videotape me. I mean, she might put the camera in the air, but she's not coming down the beach to get me coming down the line. So, so my GoPro is my only video, and yeah, me and my buddies. I mean, we're even as a musician or anything else, we're always dissecting them. And even Desi said it. The kayak surfer. He's like, when I was young, we would just videotape ourselves, replay it, and just see how good we did and what we were doing right and what we were doing wrong and what could we be doing better. So I looked at my video from Saturday. I'm like, one, it was freezing, and I'm like, I just don't feel like rolling like 10, 20 times today because the water is 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and so is the air temp, and then the wind just makes it colder. I'm like, well, I want to get used to the new kayak I got. So, but I'm like, my turns could be harder. I should be coming back around with the roundhouse cut back and hitting the white water. And, so I'm setting those kind of goals this year, to work on. And instead of just going down and just catching the wave and say, I got a long ride again, there's got to be something new I'm going to add. So, that's kind of
with the GoPros, I think the best setting is to put it on the nose of your board
all the way forward if you can,
and filming you, so you can analyze your body position, where you put your pedal, how you move, how you make your turns. I've been using the first I was putting an action cam on my helmet, but then all of us who are used to GoPro knows that it flattens out the image. So nice waves seem nothing on camera. And then with the Dutch waves we have here, which aren't very impressive, then with the helmet cam, it didn't make any sense. And you cannot see yourself. And then I also used it with a harness, on your chest mount. But then your knees are in the way. So, and now I'm using the board cam. And I think that's the best because you can get some nice footage if you're just hanging in a nice wave. But the most important thing is that you can see yourself and you can analyze your moves and learn from that.
Yeah, I know Miles had that question. I'm always looking at these wave skis. We're back to our same predicament here in the U.S. is that we don't really have access to the KSs and the Viking and the Solomonsi and Max skis here. There is, I think, Island wave skis. So I mean, to address Miles's issue,
and you also had Tyler Lawson, but I think he stopped shaping.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, all that's new to us. I mean, if I missed anybody, my apologies. But it's like, if it's not on social media or someone's putting it out there, I just like stumble on these pictures. I'm like, oh, cool. What brand is that? But I always look at what the pros are riding. That's one, and track that to the website and see if they make multiple models, or even Mega makes a Kahuna, which is thicker rails, so for someone like Miles, maybe that might work. If you message Peter and the guys at Mega, when you don't see the pros riding them in contests or free surfing, there's usually a reason. It's either more of a fun or a flatter wave, or made for sloppier waves, or the rails are very thick, or it's too constricting because it's got a bigger bubble for your back, and it's more for comfort, which is fine with me. So there's always going to be something out there for Miles, if we do some digging.
All the brands, they ship worldwide, I think, but I always think from the beginning it's interesting to check locally. It's most easy, but they're all importing worldwide, so that's
so I do like I like your videos. You got a you have a training. I think you're doing some exercises and stuff. And you know, I was like, oh man, I went out after 3 months of doing nothing, thinking I would be fine, and I just got killed out there. And it was a new kayak, which I never surfed at all. And the second wave, you know, after that wipeout, I was just spent, and my triceps, the back of my shoulders, and I'm like, man, what were you thinking, Richie? So that's what you get.
It's an intense sport. You got to be fit, but I have to be honest. My my goal is to out next to surfing to exercise 3-4 times a week. But I have to be honest and say it's not always possible. But I try doing some kettlebell exercises, mostly for the core and the arms, back muscles, and also those high interval training exercises.
Yeah.
But I should do more, or more often, I have to say.
It's good. I mean, you've got what I like about your YouTube, if anybody is new to this, is that, and I'll put your YouTube up constantly, is that you know, you've done all the hard work, or at least a lot of you guys have. So you know, some of the training and even like finding a paddle that fits you and all that stuff. I mean, did you consult some of these guys like Al, you know, like Alessandro, you know, on how to learn all that stuff, or how'd you figure that out?
But that was the idea from the beginning when I started. You know, when you see my videos, and you see from the first video I made, I think it took maybe 8 or 10 videos before I made my first really tutorial. It was all giving information about the things around waveski surfing, you know, because every question you have in your head, you know, so many times you see a post, yeah, it might be a dumb question, but anyway, I ask it. But for so many people, this question isn't a dumb question, but it's just a question that everyone has. When you just get started in something new, everything is new to you. So for me, it was like, you know, a lot of videos I posted, and I was like, I don't know if anyone is going to be interested in this. But then I'm getting some reactions back, people thanking me. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I haven't thought about that. You know, of course, if you have that question in your mind, you can be sure that a lot of other people will also have the same question. And the tutorials come step by step, because I'm just learning, you know, and when I can make a tutorial, I will make it. But there's so much more to tell about and I just want to I want to make people enthusiastic about the sport and be passionate about sport like I am. So I'm giving all the information I can find, and what I'm busy with, you know, there are so many other videos I still have in my head. Like simple questions like, when you're going surfing, why do you leave your car key? You know, but when you look on Facebook pages, you see people asking these questions, you know.
Yeah.
There's so much more to the sport than just learning the sport.
Yeah, it's funny. I was going to put a little video together of some of my little pieces of equipment that I have. And because I do have something, a little waterproof case for my key fob that, you know, a lot of times I have to lock my car if I'm not parked right on the beach, which I'm able to do here in New York. So little things like that, you know, that community shares, our little tribe, you know.
Yeah, and a few weeks ago, you guys were busy with all the GoPro equipment and how to put it on and all that. You know, everyone is busy with that, and that's so nice to share that all with everyone in the community.
Yeah, and you said something interesting to me once, or the last time we spoke, is that you feel like it's surfing when you're wave skiing, and I get that. I totally get that. I've been surfing my whole life, and which is actually why I wanted a kayak, surf kayak, is because I wanted something almost drastically different. You know what I mean? But I do like watching these videos on the screen right now. That's what I get. I get the feeling, you know. So if you're after that, you know, I mean, this is disputable, of course, but one, I got
What
into.
these guys doing, I don't know if it's from the Take a Seat movie, but you know, these French guys, they rip. It's amazing. Yeah, this is Clément, such a nice style. He's the one who's also, when you look at the Facebook page of Star Waveski Surfing, he's the one in the picture.
Okay,
And
right.
his girlfriend, she made the Star Waveski Surfing logo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's very
That's
creative.
great.
So yeah,
Yeah,
very nice people. Yeah, but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
the way they surf, that's what it's all about. But I don't think I will ever reach that level. Uh, um, but it's very it's fantastic to see and to be inspired by.
Yeah, I mean, it's you
But
know, Ian.
that is surfing. That's what we're talking about. This is surfing, you know,
Yeah,
and just not riding out a wave. But and I like all those moves they also do, all those aerials with all those different freestyle moves in it. That's what I like about it. You know, like this. You know, see what's happening.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
Getting back up, turning. You know, that's yeah, yeah.
yeah. I mean, you know, when you have different obviously these guys are like the equivalent of shortboarders or what the pros on the
Yeah,
world tour of surfing ride.
yeah,
They're made for these kind of maneuvers and such. So
yeah,
anybody that's new out there, you know, like Ross and myself or Miles, you know, you see this and it's like the 1% of waist skiers or maybe
yeah.
the top 10%. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But you know, I always forget that when I watch these videos, and then I watch
Yeah,
my video. I'm like, I don't look like that,
yeah, yeah.
which is okay.
And I'm still frustrated because I'm still trying that 360 spin and can get it right. And
Yeah.
then I see the that young kid Arturo Guzman.
Okay. Right. Yeah.
You know his name?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This kid is amazing how he's growing, and he's spinning around like it's nothing, you know. And oh shit, I want to do that, but
Yeah. I mean,
you know,
it's I got into the kayak side of it just because I'm here on the North Shore of Long Island, New York, and there's no waves. It's the Sound or the
yeah,
bay, as you know, a bay. So it's more peaceful, calm kayaking, you know, with nature and such.
yeah,
So I can train out here. I can practice my rolling, which I'm started to do, you know. And Ian had
yeah,
some great suggestions about doing sprints, you know,
yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah.
pretending
I
like
heard that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, like you're paddling out through the white water, or you're trying to
Yeah,
beat it, you know, and eventually it ends. So
yeah,
it's,
yeah,
you know, 30 seconds hard
yeah,
on, and then
yeah,
take a break, you know, and then you wait and you go again,
yeah,
and then I do a roll and I'll come back, and then I'll do a
yeah,
roll and I'll keep doing it.
yeah.
So I'm in shape for the waves once I get out there. But you know, I got into the kayak also because the water is so cold here, and I'm a wimp, I guess, but you know, I'm always about the palm trees, and you know, my shirts are like California and
Yeah,
Hawaii,
yeah, I see.
and it's sunny outside now, but it's cold. But at least with the kayak, I'm able to stay a lot warmer
Yeah,
with the dry top, and you know, everything from the waist down is inside the kayak, and it's kind of like a little race car, you know.
yeah, yeah,
And it's nice. But I'd like I told Ian, I'm like, I would love to have a wave ski when the water gets a little warmer,
yeah, yeah,
just to be out there and be free. And like some of you guys said, just throw it under your arm with the paddle.
yeah.
You know, that's kind of all you need, which is
Well,
freedom.
that, you know, and then because you're talking about being in a kayak and being warmer, I never thought about it, but that's it fits a bit in the story about surfing, like just taking your board and your pedal and there you go. For me, it's also the same, like wearing a wetsuit instead of a dry suit.
Yeah, yeah,
Now, you don't see a lot of guys surfing in a dry suit or wave ski surfing in a dry suit, but you know, for me, it doesn't match if you're in a dry suit on a wave ski, because that feeling of surfing is best thing, of course, is without like these guys, just a t-shirt, but we don't have that temperature here. Even last summer, most of the times I was wearing my 4 millimeter wetsuit.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Wow. Yeah.
I only wore 2 times my 3 millimeter wetsuit, but I always need a bit warmer. But I never worried about that. I started surfing when it was fall, so
Yeah.
winter was close. But for me, it was immediately clear that when I pick up this sport, I'm going to do it all year long.
Yeah.
And I'm surfing in temperatures like 0 degree air temperature, 5 degrees water temperature. If you got the right gear, but I also had to look for the right gear.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I thought my boots were good. It was winter boots, but 5 millimeter. And after my surf session, my feet were numb. And I came home in the shower, and then I had to massage my feet
Oh man. Yeah.
to get the blood circulating again. And now the gear I have now, the suit and the boots, they are perfect. So
Yeah, excellent. I mean, that's what it's about. I mean, it's a little bit of trial and error too,
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, everyone in the Facebook groups are great because I mean, you have Instagram, I have Instagram too, but the groups are actually where you can have the discussions, and pose the questions and get comments, and what's great is, though, I remember starting up and asking a question, and you get different advice from the pros, like, strap yourself in with a belt underneath your skirt. I'm like, I've only been doing this a few months, and I don't want to be scrambling for my life when I can't pull the roll off because I got a belt on.
Because then you have to, if you're in, you have to release yourself. You have to first pull off your skirt and then release your belt.
Yeah. So for the new
that would feel very tricky for me too.
Yeah. So for the newbie, I mean, you've got a nice video on rolling, which I watched because my buddy, who I won't mention his name, is like, I got a wave ski and I couldn't roll it, and he's been a surf kayaker for a while. But here what I've noticed is my friends who did any whitewater kayaking, were trained in rolling, like in the pool. There's programs here and such. They can roll on the left side and the right side, and they can do all this great stuff. But those of us who came at it from the surfing side, I don't want to say it's the last thing we wanted to learn, but it kind of is that last piece to the puzzle. And I mean, so how did you, handle your first roll when you were strapped in and you were out there in the waves?
That's a long story. I've been busy more than 2 years, of course, not constantly, but it took me from first trying. More than 2 years later, I finally made my first roll.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
It took me a long time, but the advantage of it is that I could make a good tutorial on it and really explain step by step for those who had difficulties with learning.
Yeah.
Some people learn it in 10 minutes. It took me 2 years, so I made a video for all those struggling the same as me. And learning it step by step. But I've been practicing lots in the canal here, close to my house. I'm pointing, but you don't see it. But there's a canal here, and I've been practicing, and at a certain point, I was almost giving up on rolling.
Yeah.
Wow. I've been watching YouTube videos. There's also a YouTube video from a French girl in a swimming pool, and then you see underwater, you see the footage. So it's very good to analyze. I've been practicing on my bed, practicing on the grass, practicing in the canal, and I've been analyzing it. And in my head, it was like, okay, I know perfectly what to do. But then as soon as I went head down, I was disorientated and I was lost. I was like, okay, do I have to stick out my pedal to my left side, to my right side? And when at the moment I was about to give up, and then I got a video from Eric Perrier.
Okay.
I think he's French, but he lived in South Africa. Now I think he lives in another place. Adaptive surfer, one of your championships. Very nice guy, and he sent me a video just explaining with a broom. He was using a broom and explaining me what to do. And what he was telling me, I already knew that, but that video, it was so nice from him, so cool that he gave me another boost to try it again. And then I made a video also just here in the garden, and I posted it. And then I got a few tips. I got a few tips from Ian McLeod, and a few tips from Gus Presa. And those tips combined were for me like, aha, now I know what it's missing. And a few days later, I went to the beach, and I must say, I didn't feel really like, I wasn't really confident.
Yeah.
But I went in the water and I said, okay, I'm going to try it with the tips I got from Gus and from Ian. And first roll didn't succeed.
Yeah.
Second roll, went down, up, did my roll, and was like, I'm up. I'm up. Yeah. Okay. Was this just luck or not? Okay. And then I did it 10 times in a row, and smoothless.
Nice.
And I came out and I posted a video like, yeah, I got it. And from then on, as soon as you know how to roll, you know how to roll.
Yeah, it's yeah, I mean, when the bell goes off, where you finally get it, it's like, aha. I got it, and then I lost it for a little while. Why, I don't know. I just, didn't practice. So it was rolling one. Actually, Ross's friend Bill saw me fail. So did Ross, and but that's just what happened. So I had to go back to the basics. And Bill's like, "You're taking your head up." He saw me. He's like, "You're picking your head up too early." So I wasn't keeping my form. I mean, you want to get that breath of air, so you want to get upright, and that's just really not the way it's going to work.
I do my roll like I do my roll, because in all honesty, I still doing my roll with one hand on the blade and the other hand on the shaft, not with both hands on the shaft. This is how I learned myself, and because also most of the times when I'm having wipeouts, your body goes always and your pedal goes always. So most of the times your pedal is not in a good position after the wipeout to make an immediate roll. So you have to bring your pedal in a good position. So for me, it's and less than 3 seconds and I'm up again.
Yeah.
So, but I still do it with one hand on the blade.
Yeah, I've actually had to resort to that on this new kayak I have. It's a little shorter. It's for whatever reason, whatever reason, I'm not doing it with both hands on the shaft. I'm grabbing the blade, and that's where I'm at right now. So probably later today I'll go out in the bay and start practicing. But
and today I did a few duck dive rolls. I don't do them so often because that Mexican dolphin, that is so nice to pedal out, that even with big waves, I just pedal over them. Yeah. When they break, I just go over them. So I don't have to do the duck dive roll a lot. But today I had a few times that I thought, this might be a good opportunity to learn. But still, then I go head down and then still take my pedal with hand on the blade, and I roll so quickly. So for me, this is how it works. And like I explained, I did a tutorial also for other people who are having problems, because sometimes I get a reaction like, why do you make it so complicated? Well, I don't make it complicated, but listen carefully to the tutorial. I explain it step by step. And then at the end of the video, I explain afterwards, when you manage to learn it like this, then you can learn other rolls, keeping both hands on the shaft. But this is just the first steps. And I also got reactions, and that is what I was hoping for, that other people were saying, like, I had the same problem as you. I've been struggling years with the Eskimo roll. I saw your video. I tried it, and 100%. Well, and that makes me happy, you know, that I could help people out with putting those videos online,
Yeah.
And they're progressing.
Yeah. Miles is commenting. I think are you talking about Miles rolling a kayak compared to a wave ski? Because Paul has a nice video here. I think you might have two, right? And I know you take your foot
Yeah.
out sometimes, one of the straps to give you leverage to kind of get you over.
Yeah, I have a few videos about the roll. I have the long extended one in which I explain step by step. Then I have a shorter video just without too much information around it. For people who just want to recheck the video, they can check the short video. And I also have a video specifically on solving the problems when you have a wipeout and your paddle is too deep in the water, how you resolve that, what I just explained. I don't know what Miles, I think, I don't know, maybe you should type what he's meaning, but I read it as in what is the difference between a surf kayak and a wave ski. I don't know if it's about rolling or just in general surfing it. I think.
Yeah, I mean it's a little, you know. Listen, it's totally different. You know, I went from the Cobra Strike, which is bigger in plastic and it's wider, and I think I tried to roll a Mega sit on top, which I had for a little while in my pool, and I wasn't that good. It was harder. You know, it was a lot harder. But I was already rolling the Cyclone, which is longer. And I have a Necky Rip, which is a whitewater kayak, which is the sides are very bulbous. But
but you know what you mentioned earlier about learning it in a pool. Arjan, my mate from the canoe shop, he learned to roll in a pool. But he was there with his wave ski, and for the rest of the guys, it was all kayakers.
Yeah.
And even the instructors, they couldn't roll his wave ski because it's a very different way to roll. And I also showed this in my extended tutorial that the tipping point of a wave ski is much further than with a kayak, because with a kayak you have those rounder rails. So and then you also can use your knees to push your boat, I guess. So it is really different. I've never tried it with a kayak, but I always heard that it's much more difficult to roll a wave ski than
it looks like it. It does look like it. Yeah,
let's get back to the question of Miles, because I don't know if he was talking about rolling or in general. What's the difference between surf kayak and a wave ski?
In general.
In general, response now. I think what we talked about earlier, the surfing aspect.
Yeah.
I think with the wave ski you can get a bit more radical. Well, you can get a lot more radical, but for most common people like us who are not experts, it's wave ski is lighter and more responsive in general than a surf kayak. So if you, but it depends on what you're looking for. Main thing is just have fun, and if you like to do some more radical maneuvers and more surfing orientated, then you should try wave ski. But then again, you've been talking to Mathieu Lemont with a surf kayak. I cannot do what with my wave ski what he does with his surf kayak. So it also comes down, of course, to your own level. But in general, I would say wave skis is more orientated to surfing and more radical maneuvers, I guess.
Yeah, and I agree. You know, as a surfer, we paddle out, we go into lineup, we kick our legs off to the side, much like the wave skiers do. When you're on the shorter boards, you know, because you'll, I don't think your core can sit there, right, as you're waiting on waves, stationary. You know, in a kayak, you can just sit there You can, just lay back. We got a back support. We got knees that are up against the hull, with foam and thigh grips. So for me, it's very, very comfortable. But I know if I have a wave ski, I'm going to paddle out. I'm going to kick my legs off like I do when I surf. And if I see a wave, I'm going to put my legs back in the straps, and I'm going to start going. Sometimes 1 foot at a time, right? If you're short, if you have a shorter board.
Yeah, but most performance wave skis, guys are paddling with one leg alongside the rail for the balance, and they just put the second foot under the foot strap when they're catching a wave, and then they're riding it. And then at that point, when you're surfing it, stability isn't an issue anymore. Then you're just gliding that wave and making your maneuvers on it. And with the Dolphin I have the benefit of both worlds, because I'm so much with my both foot in the foot wells, because the board is so stable. But with the performance, the board you see in the video now, long time I had a sore muscle in my leg, which did hurt every day. Also, when I was not surfing, when I was driving my car, I had problems with my muscles in my leg. And why? I think the reason behind it was that when I was on this case performance, it was a very nice board to surf, but to paddle out, it was very tippy. So I was always pushing my legs alongside my rails, and my muscles were strengthened to keep my stability.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's true. So if no one has done this before, I can just say from being a surfer, that's totally different if you've been a whitewater kayaker, a sea kayaker, or a surf kayaker. If you've always just been inside the boat, this is something totally different. I mean, it's fun if you're looking for something new, and just a little more freeing. It's a level up as far as performance from a sit on top kayak, like the plastic ones that are made out there, like Cobras and some of the other ones, the Perception 5.0s. Like you said, you feel like you're surfing, and that's what when I see that, I'm like, oh yeah, it looks like surfing to me. Water's all over you, your legs are out. You can jump off the board, you can go back on it. They're a lot lighter, so there are a lot of benefits to it. But I mean, listen, your videos are great. I if anyone out there isn't doesn't know about it, I'll make sure I continue to post your YouTube links and such, because
Cool.
I know in Florida there's a Waveski group. They're kind of near where Ian has set up shop down there. I think there's some wave skiers in North Carolina on the East Coast here. And of course, I know the championships are in Ventura, I believe, California, in November. My wife's saying you should go, and I'm saying maybe.
Go. I wish I could. I wish I could attend to those events.
But yeah, I'm interested in getting a wave ski for summertime, just because my wife and I enjoy the beach lifestyle, and it does get a little hot in July and August. Like it's, I go in without a wetsuit for 2 or 3 months, and it's that beach lifestyle where you can just grab this board and just
but I think with your experience in surfing and also in kayak surfing, that you should not start with the beginner boards. You can already go to an intermediate board, I think.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I was talking to Ian about, and I went online and looked at other brands and such, and
but anyways, if he's going to shape your board, he will really make sure that, and of course he knows the surf there over there, and all those shapers, they know exactly what they want to hear from you and what information they need to make you the perfect board.
Yeah, absolutely. So any advice? I mean, listen, I would say, what kind of advice you could give to beginners or intermediate? I mean, you've kind of said it all, really, but
Well, something we didn't spoke about is about how frequently you go surfing, because
Yeah,
it is a difficult sport. So try to go as much as you can.
yeah,
Of course, it depends on where you live. If you have to drive a few hours to the beach, I can imagine you can go every week, or maybe 2-3 times a week. Uh, um, I have a family, I have a job. I wish I could go 2-3 times a week, but I don't
yeah,
have that time. So I'm happy when I can go once in a week. Uh, but then I have to be lucky that the waves are good. So,
yeah,
but my advice would be definitely in the beginning, just go out there, just
yeah,
go out there, and don't worry too much about the forecast.
yeah,
The times that you see the post, just look at the posts. Oh, the forecast, it wasn't as expected, and sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse.
yeah, yeah,
But you need that consistency of being in the water, and there's so much things to learn about the how your board feels, how your board reacts in mushy waves, in different types of waves, with wind, without winds. So there's uh, 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 if the temperatures are fine, just practice your role. I can imagine you're not going to practice your role in wintertime.
I
But
have been. It's
anyways,
painful.
just get out there. And a lot of times I went and I looked at the beach and I was like, it's not going to be much. And 9 times out of 10, it was better than expected.
Yeah,
And I never regretted to be out there and having a session. There's so much you can learn in small ways, but also go out in that mushy shit. And then
yeah,
if it's too difficult to pedal out, you can try to surf on the white water, just
yeah,
at the first banks. And you can also try to practice your turns on those first banks.
yeah,
So just go out there and try to surf as much as you can. Stay fit, because it demands a lot of your body.
yeah,
So stay fit. And well, what we talked about before is
yeah,
start with a good board, a board that gives you stability,
yeah, yeah,
and have fun and watch a lot of surf videos.
yeah, yeah.
You can learn a lot by analyzing videos, and from all levels.
Yeah,
Check out the videos from all level surfers. There's much that you can learn about it. Watch a lot of surf tutorials, of course. Start with ski surfing,
yeah,
but
absolutely.
there's so much more on the net to find and to learn from.
Yeah.
So I've always been watching Surf Simply. I don't know if you know that YouTube channel.
Mm-mm,
It's
mm-mm.
a surf school in Costa Rica by
Okay, great.
a guy from the UK, I think, started off Surf Simply, and then you also have Surf Insight.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
Very
Insight with
cool.
SIGHT, Insight.
Okay.
He also makes some very, very good surf tutorials.
Excellent.
And I think Alessandro, hi, bro. I think
Yeah.
Alessandro also had a good.
Yeah. If your wife encourages to go, then don't disappoint her.
Okay, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I like, Ross and I are kind of on a similar path where we do want a boat or a ski or a sit on top where they can maybe take a little bit of a beating. We're in some pretty heavy shore break sometimes, so, and that's just the deal where we live. I found,
if the risk is big that you're going to hit the sand, then I
yeah, I mean,
understand that might stick to that. I see
yeah,
Ross is asking an opinion on the plastic Ahona.
yeah,
I've never seen one live, so I wouldn't know.
yeah,
I think it must be a fun craft to
yeah,
surf.
yeah,
So it will be different than a wave ski. I think
yeah,
it's
yeah. Thicker rails, and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
plastic. It will weigh a little more.
it will not give you the same responsiveness as a wave
Yeah,
ski and the same reaction.
yeah,
But
yeah,
a lot of those crafts. You also mentioned I forgot the name.
but the kahunas that
Yeah, the very very tall plastic
oh, the Cobra Strike or the Perception 50.
Perception 50. That was the one.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I think they are single fin, aren't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are. There's an Atlas kayak down in New Jersey here on the East Coast that's for bigger people. It's a bigger, but it's almost indestructible when you see them throw it down on the rocks, and so so it just depends. I mean, that's going to give you stability, especially if you're a lighter person, because it can hold a lot of weight. So, if someone like Miles or Ross or myself even want just something bigger and stable, just to take a shore break beating, then maybe my Strike is great, and I put another smaller kayak on the roof as well, or a Waveski, and say, which one is going to be good for today? Yeah,
it depends on where you serve and which level you have. I would say just try the second bank and don't stay at the first bank, because it's a big risk that you're going to have a nosedive in a sense. But it depends where you surf and how easy you can pedal out or not, and what level you have.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's got great comments. It's give and take. You don't take your Rolls Royce Max Ski and look at that shore break and go, okay, I'm going to ride it in and hope that I don't do this. And with my body and all my weight strapped in and just get slammed on the sand, you got to make some decisions, and maybe it's take the fin off the Cobra if you're going to be constantly sliding into the sand, which I've done before too. I've bent the fin so much. I'm like, oh man, I'm taking it off now, because the waves, I'm just getting every wave. If I want a wave, I'm just going to be riding into the sand almost. So it's like, I don't want to.
No, yeah, I never tried a sit on top surf kayak or plastic kayak, so I cannot talk from out of experience. For me, the sport is all about Waveski. But like I said before, it doesn't matter which craft you have, as long as you're having fun and you can start with it. But afterwards, if you want to progress and you want to surf more radical, then I would say look out see if you can find someone who can lend you a Waveski to try it out and check it out. And your experience might be totally new in surfing that. I guess it will be, because there is a difference.
Yeah, I will tell Ross, I was gifted a sit on top, mega sit on top, and I could not get that thing out through the whitewater. I mean, I just could not on a day that it was breaking, and the whitewater just kept coming in, and then I went and got my Cobra Strike, and just because the length and the weight, I was able to get out, and and I know with my surf kayaks, and I assume with the Waveskis, just because they have better floatability, and just better weight distribution. I just see people paddle out and float over the whitewater more, get the nose in and get it up over. I kept cartwheeling,
There's already a big difference in the beginner boards. For Waveskis, like the KS1 155 and the WaterTech Easy, which are very, very good Waveskis to start with. But if you compare it to a performance Waveski, considering pedaling out, when we got mushy waves here, those bigger Waveskis, they can feel like a tank at that point, and and you can make a duck dive roll so easy, like with a performance board.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. If you want to be able to roll it, if you think you're never going to roll it, then obviously that should help you decide on what boards you want. And like Ross and I, sometimes I want something for comfort. Like my lower back. Not to sound like an old man, but I like to be comfortable when I'm out there. But then again, you're sacrificing performance when you don't see anyone doing aerial.
But that depends on how you want to surf. What I want to achieve might be different than what you want to achieve.
Yeah.
So if you're happy with just riding out that wave and maybe just make a smooth turn and that's it.
Yeah.
Great. But if you're looking for more radical turning and very sharp turns, going from cut back and getting on that lip and trying to make a very radical top turn, or maybe even try an aerial. Yeah, well then you'll have to progress to other boards. Then that.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's all give and take. But yeah, I mean, I think my goal this year, I'm not like Kai Lenny or these Hawaiian watermen that do kite surfing, stand up paddle, short board, toe in. I don't do any of that. But
you can do everything,
But I do like
taking such a big wave and then even making the risk, like doing 360 spin in the air.
Yeah.
I would just, if I would do it now, but I'm not a big fan of those big wave.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I think it's fantastic how they can do it, and a lot of compliments. But I prefer the freestyle surfing, those nice aerial maneuvers, and all that. I prefer that than all those big wave things.
Yeah, me too. And I think my wife is going to think I'm crazy, but I would love to get a Waveski for certain times. There's actually a break that's very, very far out, and I'd like to bring a camera and even strap things to take some water shots, and plus it's so far out. If anything happened with the skirt, it's a really, really, really long swim in. If the boat fills with water, because we call it user error, and I'm not there yet.
A question that pops in my mind is if you like going to use a Waveski just for a certain period of time in the year, like in summertime, I'm just wondering how it will feel to adapt.
Yeah.
If every year you will need quite some time to adapt it. I don't know. It's just a question that pops in my mind. I have no idea.
Yeah, and I'm so comfortable in the water since I've been a little kid. My brother and I in the ocean, so I never have a problem in being out there. In way, a quarter mile off or half a mile out. We've been stuck off the coast of North Carolina, and in a storm, and so I have good swimming ability, but I just enjoy the act of paddling, using the paddle. And I still surf too. I'll throw the surfboards on the roof, and kids come out, I'll bring the longboards, and we'll have some fun. So I just love being in the water and the ocean in any way possible, So I'm hoping that I can add a Waveski to this journey, and then document that progress. So appreciate you documenting all your progress and putting on, all the things you found out, successes.
I'm looking for such a quote like, once you go black, you never go back. I'm thinking like, once you go Waveski, you never go back, something like that.
It could be it. I mean, I don't know. I know Nathan Eads. I think that's how you pronounce his name.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
He was in a video in like 2008, and he was surf kayaking on that European trip. There's a movie called Interference.
Okay, I didn't know he surf kayak before.
Yeah. And then I saw him recently, and I saw he's in Peru, making wave skis. But he was surf kayaking, and I think all that entire movie. So once you do go wave ski, if you're Nathan, you don't go back, I think. So.
Have you seen the last video he put out together with Jem Howe?
No.
UK.
Yeah.
Jem from UK he went to visit in Peru, and a very, very cool video with drones and all that.
Yeah, but
there was just a comment I was reading. I think it was also from Ross. Yeah, no way to attach a backbend to the softy. Ross, which softy do you have? Is it a 7.6 or an 8?
Oh, we have neither.
Because there is a way to attach a backbend to the softy. Definitely.
Yeah,
they're using it also for adaptive surface.
Yeah. It's good that we have these groups, because then we can pose a question like this.
And actually, with both sizes, you could attach the backbend to the softy.
Yeah,
I can find some pictures of it, Ross, and I can send it to you.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, There is one
I'll write it down.
Yeah, there's one video. I have to find it. These guys brought Kahlua softies only because they had to, I think, walk down like a cliffside mountain to get to the beach. So they couldn't physically carry their wave skis. So they brought the softies so they could pump them up with air.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And get to that break. So listen, man, I mean, there's always a great reason to have something like that, or a plastic boat, or vice versa.
Yeah, I think the softie is great for many purposes. Like I said, I give Waveski clinics to people interested in a sport, and then I don't have to worry that they will break the nose in the sand. And they offer great stability for beginners, and they pick up the waves easy. I use the 8 now, so just like a longboard it is.
Okay.
And when traveling, it's easy to carry along. For the rest, just have fun for the family. It's a great. It's easy to take along. So I like the Kahlua.
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone's pretty open in this group. We're not. Most of us aren't the pros that have top of the line equipment and multiple boards in our quiver. Financially, especially. If I get a wave ski, it will probably be my only wave ski. So I kind of want it to be universal, where it's good for paddling out. If the waves are too steep for it, then I'll just do slower turns and hit the lip a little bit. I get that I won't be doing what we saw on video earlier, which is doing aerials and flipping out of the wave and such. But maybe I'll get hooked. You never know.
I don't want too many wave skis too, because then it will be like, okay, I don't know which wave ski to choose now, which is best for the conditions now. So for me, but the Dolphin is such a good all-rounder. That's the nice thing about it. It's also a very good all-rounder.
Yeah, that's kind of what I had my eye on and what I was talking to Ian about. And
sometimes I think I wish I had a shorter board for more radicalness, but on the other hand, it's such a good all-rounder, that Dolphin, and I have so much still to learn that I'm focused on learning those things. If I can do those, I first want to learn new things with the Dolphin before I might consider even another board.
Yeah, and I will say, I mean, we try not to be discouraged, because I got a Banshee. It's a more tippy surf kayak than I'm used to, and I was like, whoa. So I'm a little disappointed in my performance, despite how it looks on the video, what I shot on Saturday. But I was struggling, my core. 2 days later, I went out yesterday too, and it's a lot different, and it's just that. But I also have to say, if everyone's saying they love theirs, it's great, it's this and that. Once you get used to it, I'm just gonna, barrel through some of the struggles, and just, I got to give it some time here. And I know that will be the same on a wave ski, because I know I've seen you guys and I've talked to people that it's not going to be as stable as your surf kayak. Just know that. But that's why it's so radical. Once you get on the wave, you're just going to get up there and start carving a lot easier. But that's the giveaway, is that you're not going to be able to just sit there like a surf kayak, keep moving.
The rail to rail transition will go a lot smoother on a wave ski. But then, you have so many shapes, and the shaper can do so many things with the bottom, depending on what kind of surf you want to do, your level, what kind of waves you're surfing. So much information, but Ian can tell you everything about that.
Yeah, we already talked about that with what concave does, convex does, and even the guys at Mega told me about the Banshee and how the hull is different than what I had on my previous boat. And I was like, I totally got that on my session on Saturday. I looked at the video and I'm like, Jesus, how am I going so fast right now? And I replayed the video, and then I lost control. So it was a trade-off. And I totally get what he said. So I'm like, all right, I have to take his suggestions on activating the rail a lot differently than the Mega Cyclone, which is a longer boat, shaped differently, holds to the water a lot different. I'm like, that's why, So guys like you can give us these suggestions.
But that's why also that question popped in my mind, what I said earlier. If you're going to leave the wave ski for the summertime and then you have to adapt,
Yeah.
I'm really curious. I like to hear your experience once you have a wave ski.
Yeah. Yeah.
How that feels to adapt from one surfcraft to another.
Yeah, it's tough. My core is pretty sore right now, but I'm even rolling it for some reason, it just got a little harder, you know, and I'm disappointed, but I don't have to be discouraged. Going to go out later today, maybe, and do some rolling in the flat water here, and or maybe take a drive down to the beach in the white water and the ripples, and just do some duck dives and get thrown around a little bit, and just stay in the shallows and try to get it ready, you know, so when the waves do come, I'm ready. I'm not a sitting duck out there, so.
Most important two things with rolling is just lay totally flat.
Yeah.
And reach out.
Yeah.
As far as you can.
Yeah, exactly.
And, because that gives you leverage. Because you know what, when I was struggling, it was like, you know, I already knew that you had to lay flat, but then Gus Presser, I told you about the tips I got from these guys, and Gus, you know, you have to feel that you're with your back on the deck of your wave ski. And then I was like, okay, so that flat. Yeah. And then I realized I wasn't laying flat enough. And that relates to keeping your head, you know, because when I was filming my attempts before I learned to roll, I was watching, I was looking up. It's like an automatic thing. It makes sense. It's logic. I think like I have to get up, but that doesn't make you roll this motion.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's tough, and I know it's not for everybody. And you know, if you're just in a different place,
well, it is because I learned it, so everyone can.
2 years in the making.
2 years, and not giving up.
Yeah. But listen, you were great. A lot of great stuff you talked about, and kayaksurf.net contacted me via email and just asked me to kind of join their team and just kind of. I really don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Very cool. Yeah.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but I guess I just keep doing what I'm doing. I'm just trying
to. Luis is with Kayak Surfnet. It's you know the biggest media platform on kayak surf and Waveski. So it's very good to get all the. He's looking for people who can, promote the sport and give content. So that's. Congrats, very nice. Joining the team. I'm also in that team.
Yeah, I mean, between me and Ross and Bill, the ambassadors down in New Jersey, they're a few hours from me. And I got some guys out here on Long Island about an hour from me, about 10 surf kayakers. So I'm going to bring the camera out there a little more these days. And we're always looking for content, you know, like that's kind of the problem. So social media, all the videos, the pics is great, and we can make some connections up and down the East Coast USA. And you know,
very cool.
Anytime you put stuff up, we'll promote it too. You know, it's a nice tribe, a nice community.
Well, I'm busy with another. I'm always busy with another video. And,
good.
Also maybe before we conclude this, there is something exciting going on. I'm in contact with a very talented wave skier who is going to help me make tutorials.
Oh, nice. All right, cool.
So
absolutely.
I'm not going to drop names now, but actually that's the message I would like to give now is like, you know, so Waveski surfing isn't about me. It started with my journey, but you know, the channel went so big, much bigger than I expected and wished for. But now I want to use the reach that I have to make it a media platform for tutorials. So I want to invite other people to bring in content because, you know, it's all about serving the whole family of Waveski surfers. So any content that could help others out, and it doesn't matter which level you have, always welcome to talk about creating together or putting on other contents.
Yeah.
Waveski related, of course, but you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
that's what it's about.
Yeah, it's cool. Well, listen, don't sign off once we cancel the live broadcast. I'll,
Yeah.
you know, personal thank you. But yeah, everyone, thanks for joining Paul here from Start Waveski Surfing. You can see his YouTube right there on the screen. Great
Very
stuff.
great that Alessandra could drop in. You know, this is one of the most beautiful people in the community that I got to know of. Very good. He became a very good friend of mine, and he's doing great stuff with AO pedals. But he's such a very nice, humble, gifted man. So good
Yeah,
you could join us also. Happy you're there.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
my fins and my paddles are going to be ordered very soon.
Good. So which
I'm
which model are you going to choose for the?
I'm not sure. I have to talk to him. I'm a little apprehensive. I want to make sure my paddle is not too small, the blade size, because I'm having a little difficulty with this new boat in rolling. So I'm trying to use what I have and get comfortable and think when I'm out there and make sure I get this down so I can kind of progress.
We can talk. We can talk much about it. I can also think. I have a few.
Okay, you've got a good video on paddles
also,
too.
but I can think. We can talk for hours.
Actually, yeah, we almost have. So
yeah.
Exactly. All right, everybody. Listen, thank you. We might do another video in a couple weeks with somebody else. So just stay tuned on the East Coast Surf, Kayak, and Waveski page, and then you'll have this video, Paul, as well. You can do with what you want with it, and we'll say goodbye to everybody out there.
Thanks, everyone, and thanks for inviting me. It was a pleasure and an honor. So it was a nice chat.
Yeah.
And thanks everyone for joining in.
All right. We'll see you guys soon.